We want to talk a little bit more about this with Gordan Chang, columnist, lawyer, and the author of The Coming Collapse of China. Gordan, I know we talk all the time about China, and you tweet frequently about what concerns you have about this nation. And now they're spending $224 billion a year on their military. That still pales in comparison to the $816 billion the U.S. is presumed to have been spending on defense this year. So how much of a threat is China's new budget?
Well, China's new budget is fascinating. I mean, we don't know exactly what they spend, and clearly their numbers are off. But we know something fascinating about this, and that is while they announced an increase in their economy of target of around 5%, the military budget is increasing 7.2%, which shows you that the military is getting a larger and larger portion of the regime's resources. You go back to last year when they announced a 7.1% increase. Their economy, they said grew 3.0, but actually probably contracted by 3%. And this shows that the Chinese military, like the Japanese military in the 1930s, is taking over the political system. We know what happened in the 1930s. This is not a good story for East Asia or even for the rest of the world.
In terms of them saving face, we're not going to necessarily have all of the details for how much they're spending and what they're spending it on. We know they have a large army, but how sophisticated is their weaponry? What do we know about that?
Well, some of their weapons are far better than ours. So, for instance, their cruise missiles, we have in some categories don't have an answer to that. And that makes our surface fleet extremely vulnerable to Chinese missiles. And that means that we have to fight a war in a very different way, keeping our aircraft carriers and surface combatants far away from the scene of action. And also, they probably are advanced in space weapons. They can take down our satellites. We don't really know exactly what the Pentagon can do in space because they don't say very much. But the point is, at least from what we know, China is ahead of us in space weapons.
Let's listen to what CIA Director Bill Burns said on Sunday about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, giving President Xi some pause when it comes to helping Russia. Let's listen.
Our judgment, at least, is that President Xi and his military leadership have doubts today about whether they could accomplish that invasion. I think as they've looked at Putin's experience in Ukraine, that's probably reinforced some of those doubts as well.
Do you believe that Xi Jinping is now doubting whether or not to get involved here, or was this all more just talking points?
I think this is happy talk from the CIA. Yes, of course, every military is concerned about a combined land, air, sea operation. And something, by the way, China's never done before. But we also know that China has utter disrespect for the United States. And so I think that Director Burns's comments really put a spin on this, that we need to be much more concerned about the urgency of the situation, because Burns talks about 2027. But we could be talking about a conflict well before then because of various factors that Burns didn't talk about. And also, I think that Burns doesn't think about the mentality of the Chinese leadership right now, which does resemble what the Japanese military did in the 1940s and, of course, in 1941.
I have to ask you really quickly before we let you go, what is one issue that Burns did not discuss that you believe should be number one or number two on the agenda for the U.S. when it comes to China?
It's the possibility of an accident. We know that the Chinese are engaged in very dangerous intercepts in the air and also on the sea, in the South China Sea and in the East China Sea. That could lead to war right away. So let's forget about 2027. Let's talk about 2023.
All right, Gordan Chang, thank you as always.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.